We're live, I think. Not on Twitter.
We're live.
Not on Twitter, but we are indeed live for episode 400. Can you tell we don't really do this regularly?
Is there a link? Hold on, let me.
There's a link. Hold on. Let me see.
Put it in the chat.
Yeah, we can cut all this out in post. Streaming has made I'll send you. You want me to send you the link?
Yeah, send me the link on
okay.
Put it in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a smart idea. I was literally about to just message you with it. Bada bing, bada boom.
Want to go live with it?
Gotta go live with it. I should take upload this on the Twitter so everybody can see it as well. If you're in the chat, W's in the chat. Finally get to do that.
Tumbleweeds in the chat.
Hold on, let me see. There should be.
You tweet it? Oh, there we go.
There we go. Hold on.
There you go. What's up, Nelson? WWW.
W's in the chat. Hold on. W's in the chat. We live on YouTube for the A show. Bomb. Okay. All right. We're here.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's
do our standard intro.
Let's just do it.
We'll cut it out.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the A show. We are on episode 400. 400
on them things, man. 400 episodes.
I am here with Meelz. What's good, Meelz?
I'm hot, so that's where I'm at.
It's pretty hot. It's gonna get hot here, so you know.
It is. We're here. You know what I like? I'm hoping this isn't our last time recording at this time. Why don't we just become full-time podcasters again? Like, why don't we just do this? Like, just full-time? Do you want to not be known?
I think because we've always had really good jobs.
This is true.
We were just like, I mean, why not? Why not just go live and just, you know?
Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. Quick story. I'm gonna steal this from Manny. Shout out to Manny, who has the ultimate Discord, probably Slack era joke that continues running, where he didn't know that Tess was dead for like a decade and a half. He said he saw Speedy at MSG, and he was like, "Oh yeah, he's a podcaster." And Speedy looked at him and said, "I am not a podcaster at all." And I was like, I guess he's technically right, but he made it seem like such a dirty name.
Because podcasting is such a dirty thing now. It's like when you look at podcasters, you mostly just see people with like really socially not okay takes. Like I guess people will like look at our takes sometimes and be like that, but it's like we're just talking about a fake sport.
Oh, on TikTok?
Like,
yeah. Have you seen us on?
We're booming.
They hit us with the Karrion Kross thing, and they were like, "He takes a back bump in the clip that you showed." I was like, yeah. But
that's not what we were arguing. We were arguing that we didn't know that was a thing in the whole thing. I don't know. I feel like when we get like, you know, comments like that, like we're always like, well, you know, if you just listen just a little bit, you guys would be good. I don't know. We one thing you guys don't know right now is that we're live, of course, on YouTube right now, and you know, I'm just gonna take a moment to shout out the chat. What's up, Armand? Thank you so much. What's up, Nelson? Thank you so much. Nelson said you guys could do Speedy show, but Speedy can do the A show. That is the truth. Antonio in the chat, of course. Chuka, you know what I mean? That's
shout out to everyone avoiding
character.
Shout out to everyone avoiding current work.
Yeah, this is the best.
That's the basis of this podcast is us avoiding work to do that.
Bro, there have been times, and again, shout out to Khal, shout out to James, shout out to Magan, shout out to Chris Mack in the chat, of course. There have been times when, like, you know, and we've told this story before, like I used to work at All Def Digital. I would go to the 9th floor where nobody was there and record in a back room. You know what I mean? Off of Audacity. We just record off the phone. You know what I mean? I used to record walking on my lunch break. We used to do all types of stuff on this show to make sure that it could, you know what I mean? Quan, nah, we don't got jobs yet, bro. We're working on
No,
it though.
we're working on
we're,
it. Trust me.
we're
We're,
we're
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 pray for
incredibly
me.
close.
Pray for me, please.
Oh
Um,
man. But I
but
mean, you know,
not.
we've done a lot of things in these not quite 400 years, but definitely, it's been a while since we've done this to make sure that this show goes on. And I think that like the reason that uh we continue to do this is because of the love and the community that we built, not only in our Discord, not only on Twitter, on Twitch, all of the, or not to TikTok, all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and we thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. If you weren't able to join live, of course, it's going to be on live. And yeah, like it's been amazing.
Megan said, if I recall, patrons get early access to podcasts, right? Yes,
Yes,
they do, and they get the
yes,
full episode of the podcast. The
yes.
part that you hear is the hour.
Mhm.
Now, granted, this is a super prediction episode, prediction slash narrative slash everything. So this full episode is going to be free, and it's the 400th episode. Like, what would we be doing if we didn't thing? But yeah, you get the full episode for free, and you get to go listen to old Invasion Diaries, Retro Diaries. I'm currently like specking out because I want to start back up that again with like a rotating set of like co-hosts, so we can do that. Chat, are we gifting Megan an A Show Patreon membership? You know what? I will actually, if you hit me on Twitter in my DMs, I will gift you a membership.
Yeah.
I will gift you if you it's available earlier, you get a full episode. If you want to
Yeah.
listen to us for 2 hours, it's there. So I'll
Yeah.
definitely give you a free membership for sure.
400 gifts, 400 gifts, man.
But
Not
not
literally.
400 gifts. No.
But we
No.
giving out gifts. We're giving out gifts. But listen, man, we got a pretty stacked show. We got some guests showing up in a minute. But what I want to do before we get there, I want to, I think a lot of people have always asked us or wanted to know certain things about us, and I think that was something that we want to do is kind of give you guys like just some background to us that like people have always might have wondered, or maybe you didn't wonder, and now you know. Uh, what are me and Meelz' top 5 wrestlers of all time? And Meelz, no caveats here. It could be men or women. It doesn't have to be in order. But
Wow.
what are your top 5?
Imagine us getting to a point in wrestling history where it could be man or woman. It used to just be men.
Yeah,
Like, because
yeah,
why? But top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. I don't really do top 5s, but I'll do top 5 just for a 400th episode, of course.
okay.
So
Thank
my
you.
top 5. You want to know my like the people I enjoy or the people that I think are like the best wrestlers to ever
Best of all time.
best of all time.
Yeah.
Okay. Top 5 wrestlers best to ever do it. Number 5, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
He is the best of both worlds. He's got the gimmick, he's got the in-ring skill, he made it work. The man is legitimately like one of the smartest minds I feel like in wrestling ever. Boom. Boom. Number 4 would be, I'd probably give it to Shawn Michaels. Because he's just one of the GOATs. I was watching Mind Games the other day. Classic match. Mind Games is one of those things where like all you have to do is say Mind Games and you know what match we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's just one of them ones. He's incredible pre-retirement, post-retirement, awesome. Number 3, shit. I'd say this, but I don't even have like the best to do it. You're saying
Yes,
like the best to ever
do
go.
it. I don't know why you went backwards.
Shit, I don't fucking know.
It's easier to do like your bet the top of the top than doing
Yeah,
it from
and then go and like start slumming it down. Yeah, I kind of
Exactly.
played myself. Number 3. Actually, none of this is in any order.
Oh my god.
Brian
Nigga cheated.
Danielson.
Brian Danielson, okay.
Brian Danielson is up there. He's one of the best. Believe it or not, he is one of the best. Number 2 in no correct order. Shit, who's better than those 3? I mean, in my top 5, I feel feel like AJ Styles should be there too. I just
Wow.
feel
Okay.
like, and then you know what, number one in no
Who?
direct order,
Don't say The
I'll
Rock.
go. No, I'll say Eddie Guerrero.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
That's good. That's
Eddie
good.
Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero, no correct order, no nothing. 400 is crazy. Shout out to everyone who's popping up. Shout out to Mike Brown. Shout out to Dive Club Gaming, who says everyone shut up. The A show's on the screen.
That's the boy
Absolutely.
JB. That's the boy Johnny Barnes.
Oh shit. Okay, JB. The only JB I trust. Shout out to Sam P. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in. Yeah, those are my top five. What's your top five?
My top five. Number one,
Number one. All right, so you're smart.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. Number one, greatest of all
Okay.
time. I'm a Stone Cold Steve Austin guy from day one. He changed the game. He changed the game. Number two, Shawn Michaels. Goes without saying, one of the greatest to ever do it.
Clearly mine was backwards, yes.
Number three, Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
I
top
think
five
Becky
greatest
Lynch,
wrestlers of all time.
I think Becky Lynch is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I think and you know, I shouldn't even have to argue this. Like, you know, WrestleMania main eventer, elevates everything she does. Kind of has a Stone Cold vibe, kind of has a HBK vibe as well. Like if you catch the drift of why she's where she is on the list, she's a little bit like you said with Stone Cold, best of both worlds. She'll give you matches, she'll give you elevation, she'll give you promos, she'll give you that attitude. Becky Lynch, my in my top three, and it's crazy because from 2016 or 2015, 2016 all the way up to now, incredible career. Number four, Razor Ramon / Scott Hall.
Oh wow, you went sentimental with it.
Love again. One of the coolest wrestlers I've ever seen in my life.
If I went sentimental with it, mine is complete. Mine will have like The Rock and Edge and Kurt Angle.
Best to ever do it in your eyes. You know what I mean? Best to ever do it in your eyes. I think like Razor Ramon for me as a child was just the coolest motherfucker ever. The chains. Sure. He made you love gold chains. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was. And then number five, CM Punk. Punk. He's made it back into the top five. I think he's made it back. He had a shaky 10 years, but he's made it back in the top five. That's my top five wrestlers of all time.
Shout out to X or Twitter that won't let us broadcast there because we don't have the premium account.
We're not paying Elon.
We're not going to pay it. So it is what it is. Shout out to everyone who does pay it. We're not paying it. Like it is not it's not beneficial. It's not smart. It's not the best thing you get is money. Like that's really legitimately. And now you're just tweeting, hoping to get paid, but it is what it is. So we can't broadcast on Twitter. So if you guys are on Twitter, share the live tweets that we have that we're going live. It would be great. People notice. If you're on your lunch, join us. If you're at your breakfast, join us. Let's see. Whew. Okay. We might have a guest popping in soon. But with that said, I want to remind you guys, subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/TheAShowRNC. Continue to subscribe there. Continue to support the A Show because we got a lot of things going on. But this is a big wrestling weekend, J5. It's not even like close. Like we are in, I don't know. I can't even say hell. We're
not in hell. I mean, I won't be in hell because one of these shows, actually a lot of these shows this weekend, I'm probably gonna miss.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'm gonna be out touching grass.
Hey man, don't say that. We're wrestling fans here. Everyone will be touching grass. Okay. All right, but we have a guest here, someone who is going to join us. We're extending the podcast branch over to, of course, Black Wrestling. We have none other than, I'm going to call him the Oracle himself. He's the Oracle now.
What's poppin', y'all?
We got Khal in the building.
Happy 400.
Thank you,
man. Can you believe that you also started 2018? I believe, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of I was gonna say there's a lot of black folks starting a wrestling podcast about 7 years ago. Yeah. It's crazy to think though, because it's odd, and I think a lot of people really started connecting like during the pandemic. Because there was a lot of folks I saw out there, but I don't think we really started even connecting dots and having collabs until like over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
How many times have you had a guest and they're like, I didn't even know black people had a wrestling podcast?
A lot. No, yeah, a lot. Especially from like, 2018 to maybe like 22. I think around 2021, 2022, people realize, hey, it's a niche, but it's not really a niche. Like it's too many of us in the damn room. But yeah, a lot. There probably is still. I guarantee you, there's somebody out, some black dude somewhere in the middle of Arkansas. He only taught wrestling with himself, and if you had him on the show, I didn't even know black folk until I saw Beyond. I know black folk was into it like this. That's how it goes.
It's crazy, man. How have you been, man? How have you been?
I cliche. It's hot. It's hot over here in Jersey, but nah, I've been good. It's I feel like over the last couple, coming out of the pandemic, it's been a lot of content and shit that I don't really rock with. So I'm not saying things is getting back on the right track, but I feel like there's certain things that's coming out where I'm like, oh, I do like watching movies from time to time. I do like watching pro wrestling from time to time. He was just talking about weekends like this. I'm not saying this ain't one of them. It's a lot going on. It's a ROH show on Friday.
Yeah,
it's not too much wrestling. It's a lot of damn wrestling. It's a lot of wrestling.
It's a lot. From when I got into it. So I started watching 99, really, like heavily 99, and it was just, I mean, it was one show a week turning into 2 shows a week.
Right.
And then, well, I never watched WCW, so I never got to do the real, like, oh my God, now there's 4 shows.
I feel like a lot of people on the East Coast didn't watch WCW. Like, I grew up in Virginia. Like WCW, like Norfolk was a battleground, so to speak, for WWF and WCW. We watched the fuck out of WCW. More often than not, when I talk to people up north, they're like, we couldn't stand that shit. Like that country bumpkin bullshit.
I didn't even have those conversations till later, but because like my cousin, and I mean, it's not like they were like into the South at all like that, but my cousins lived in South Jersey, and the first time I saw NWA was down there, and it was only because I don't know if we had TBS at the time. By the time we got TBS though, but it was like I was already into wrestling, so I was an Arn Anderson fan, I was a Sting fan, I was a Muda fan, and I was obsessed with wrestling like I am now then. But to your point, Meelz, like there was only so much wrestling going on that it was literally me with the TV guide, like, okay, on Tuesday afternoon there's going to be some world class on ESPN. Saturday's going to be the big day, but like, you really, there's going to be a Saturday's main event. Like you would really get hyped for stuff because there was only so much out there. Now it's literally every day.
You'd miss wrestling. You'd be like, damn, like, especially when it was just Monday Night Raw, you're like, damn, I gotta wait another week for this.
Right.
Now, I mean, it's concurrently 3 hours, 2 hours every day. But this weekend, it's the weekend of all weekends. Mm-hmm. It is counter programming mania, as some might say. It is the weekend of. Go ahead.
This weekend, this is such a random July.
I don't get
weekend.
It. Like, I don't get it.
It makes no sense that everyone's active this weekend. It's strange, but we're gonna try and make it work. And on this episode, we're gonna talk about AEW All In, WWE Saturday Night's Main Event, WWE Evolution, NXT Great American Bash, all of that stuff. But we got Khal here to talk us through NXT Great American Bash and Saturday Night's Main Event, I believe.
No, AEW All In.
Oh, All In? That's even better. Let's get it out the way. Get the shit AEW, out the way.
Do you wanna start off with it? Let's start off with
let's start off with All In.
I'm with it. This card. You say the card right now. Wikipedia is 8 matches. There's no way this is an 8-match card by Saturday.
No way. It'll be 13.
They've been rumoring that not as much matches on the card, but then you have the 2 casino battle royals, right? So that's at least
those are gauntlets. So those will technically be a little different because there may be 20 some people in there. I don't know how long they're going to structure those matches, but 2 of those could feel like rumbles on a rumble card in terms of matches.
Absolutely.
And you're also staring down the long match invitational, which is the Jon Moxley Adam Page match, right. the Okada Omega match, that tag match with the Bucks.
Yeah,
that's 2 hours.
Right
alone,
there. Right there.
That's his
no,
own
you're right.
show alone. Like one thing to look at with this card, and when I see it, I'm like, length. Like it is going to be a very long show. It starts at I think 2 p.m. 2 p.m.
About 2 p.m. 2:30 Eastern.
So 11 a.m. here where I live at. It starts, and it probably
that's assuming you're not checking the pre-show, which is like an hour or two before that.
Exactly. Like, this is going to be a long show. And again, like I look at the reports of like the counter programming. I'm like, bro, like a lot of these shows, like All In will have been started and already in this 4th or 5th match by the time I think NXT starts that day. Like, I'm not like, but the only thing that's crazy about the WWE card is that it's rolling into each other. So NXT will end, and then you got to turn the TV off, and then or turn the Peacock off, and then turn your TV on to watch Saturday Night's Main Event. Which, to be fair, is a strong card in itself. But I think even with WWE cards, like if your mileage may vary on whether you like NXT or not. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to watch the NXT card. And to be honest, Great American Bash seems very like inconsequential to everything else going on that weekend.
When Meelz hit me, I went to look at the card. I'm like, wait, they have to be adding some more matches, right? Like that card, it feel kind of thin. At least NXT usually runs 5 matches, no?
It's about 5. It's looking like maybe we could just go ahead and call it like the Ethan Page, Ricky Saints match will be announced realistically on Tuesday. We just don't know the stipulation for it yet, and I'll get to my expectations and my thoughts on what that should be. Okay. But we are looking at All In here right now. And it'll be a Globe Life field. There's been much ado, honestly, about nothing. I think we get caught up in ticket sales and who's selling out, who's doing the most, whatever. Like, like the truth is, this isn't Wembley, right? The truth is, it's not 45K. It's more like 20. Still good. I mean, it's still good for them. You know what I mean? It's still. I mean, a lot of people didn't think they would be able to get half of that. Right. Whether the ticket sales are slow, whether they were giving away comps, whatever, that will be the argument that's beside itself. But looking at this card, how we felt about the build to All In 2025, has it been as strong as past years? Because I can remember the Wembley build being especially strong with the MJF, Adam Cole stuff, a lot of the CM Punk stuff before he left. A lot of things that were going on then in Wembley was extremely strong, and now this year it feels like it's centered around maybe like one major storyline, that being Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada, and kind of a little bit everything else kind of ties together with the Mox, Bucks, Hangman, Ospreay, Swerve stuff, and then everything else. And then there's the Mercedes and Tony Storm match. What have you guys thought? What have you guys thought about the build?
It's talking about there being a lot of wrestling. They've been doing so much. I don't want to say it for this to be one of their top 5. Not to say that they've not been building, but the build has definitely felt different, because at one point I'm worried about them over here doing stuff in Mexico. Next week they got 4 or 5 hours of programming that they're doing stuff, but and I think this is one of those shows where I want to see change, only because since Wembley last year, I dare say, there were a lot of people that have been down on AEW, and I think a lot of part of it is because the belt's been in a briefcase for damn near a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once that storyline started, I think people were it was very polarizing for some fans, and I think some fans were vocal in saying, "No, we're not feeling this." But I think I say all that to say they've been building that particular situation for so long, since roughly SummerSlam of last year. Something has to happen where a shift, even if Mox doesn't win, I need some type of shift in that, because they're almost making it too big to not have some type of big deal situation. The first stadium, I believe, first time they run in Texas, like this show, even if it's much ado about nothing, it is a big deal for them. They have to back it up with some big deal change.
I always felt like a large part of the build of like the first like Wembley All In, and a large part of it in this point was like the number of like tickets sold. Like I felt like that was end up being the biggest sticking point, the biggest talking point of the show. Whether what happened with the show, they had MJF and Adam Cole, they had a number of things. Last year kind of followed the same suit, but again, kind of like half that number, but still like they're telling a story of Bryan Danielson's kind of like, okay, he finally wins the big one in AEW before he gets a bag over his head. This year, I feel like this has been the most, I'll say this, I feel like they decided what are the biggest matches that we can do. This is what I'm giving them credit for. They decided to look at this card and say, what are the biggest matches that we can do? This isn't a card similar to like I think other pay-per-view AEW pay-per-view cards where it's just like, this is gonna be like, this match is gonna be fire or something along those lines. It feels like very like, okay, the biggest match we can do was the two biggest women in our division, Timeless Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné. Biggest one that we can do, Hangman Adam Page represents so much in AEW, and Jon Moxley, who's just been like constant over the last number of years. They've been wanting to do Okada versus Omega over in the States for a million jillion years at this point, just never able to get it done. And then there's the undercard, which is like, you know, pick, choose, whatever kind of you want. But those are the three, like, if there was a triple main event, this is the triple main event.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the build to this thus far, I mean, it kind of goes with most of AEW's builds. It's very like hit or miss, and really kind of depends on what you really enjoy out of your product. I think Adam Page getting to the point where he wins the Continental not Continental Classic, the Owen Hart tournament, and getting to this point, I legitimately had a thought over the weekend, and I said, what if we switch Adam Page and Will Ospreay on this card? I felt like it would make so much more sense.
I thought that was what the build was originally. When you started at the beginning of the Owen Hart, that was Will Ospreay saying, "Fuck y'all, you see Texas, that's where I'm gonna be, and it's my destiny." And then once I realized that Page was going to win it, and it was going to be in Texas, like, oh, I can read the tea leaves clearly, but it's the situation, you know. And I think I don't know if it makes sense for them to have Will Ospreay be that guy right now. I think
they can't have him be that guy because he loses so damn much. And I said this before, like, Will to me was like their Cody. He was like their baby face that could change the division, that could change the outlook on it. And then they saddled him with their US title. They saddled them with like their mid-card titles. They had him lose to like Fletcher and all this other stuff, like stuff that he didn't need to be doing, lose to Swerve, lose to, you know what I'm saying, lose to Page, all of that stuff. And like, I think that they have been set up to have him win. But I say this all the time. I've said it for years. AEW has like a top 5 guys that will always be put above the other guys that are there. That is the Bucks, that is Omega, that is Moxley, and that is anyone within that. That's like all within that sphere. If you're if you're below that, you'll look good, but there'll be or MJF is one of them. You'll look good, but you'll very rarely ever be in that upper stratosphere. And I feel like it's so strange to them that they never put Ospreay there. So like to your point, Kyle, like, yeah, they built it to be that way, but it's like they have him lose, then they'll put a report out like he wanted to do that.
Right.
He wanted to lose. He was cool with that. And I'm like, that's why I say this on Twitter. I'm like, yo, he's not him. He's not the guy that they should be putting on, you know, that they could be putting the company on their back. And that's why they went with Page, because he's the guy that's not saying that type of shit. He's the guy that, from what it seems like to me, is making the moves backstage to be like, I need to be in this position right now. I need this type. Like, he's being selfish. The way that I feel like Ospreay should be selfish, because that motherfucker works more than all of them niggas. Like he's consistently the most exciting person on the show. He rides the most. That nigga can't stop talking about WWE interview. He can't stop shitting on them niggas, begging for niggas to come over there, telling people we don't come over here to this. And he's in a tag match.
Yeah.
With a weird stipulation where it kind of like, there's no real benefit to anything. It's not like anyone gets something. It's just like, you lose this or we're gonna lose this. But I just, you know, that's kind of like what I thought about mostly when thinking of this card, because I think of Jon Moxley, especially Texas Deathmatch. They've had this match before at a 2020, I think it was Revolution 2020. And I'm sure they will top that match, because I don't even think that match got great reviews at all. But I'm sure they will top that match. But then you ask the question. I want to ask this before I ask for the other two matches. And we're not doing like heavy predictions. Shout out to the War Report, which is also on our channel. You can do predictions. But what makes the most sense for AEW post All In? Is it Jon Moxley continuing his reign, or is it Hangman Adam Page finally dethroning Moxley?
I'm gonna keep it a stat. I think Moxley's to beat Hangman Page. I'm sorry. I know people want Paige to be that guy, but I think the thrill of the chase was always better in his title run than his title run was. I think with Mox, the it's unpopular. I'm sorry. It's unpopular, but it always seemed to be that it should be Darby. It should be Darby in his hometown at Wrestle Dream. Like that seems to be what it should have been. That seems to be what they're going to. That's where the scene of the crime started. That's where he got it at. That's where he killed off Bryan Danielson, and that's where it is. Like I feel like the storyline of Hangman is more tied to Swerve than it is the title right now. I think those two are destined to be friends more than he's destined to have the title.
Damn, that's October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but they don't really have any. They don't really have much to.
I don't think they do for. I think they do Forbidden Door in August.
Yeah.
They have All Out in September, and then they have Wrestle Dream. So it's a couple matches.
And again, like we keep saying this, and I see Megan in the comments is like you said like a couple minutes ago you didn't want a Death Riders clusterfuck finish. That Texas Death Match is going to be a fucking clusterfuck. Like it's going to be all of those things. Like I think that like. And again, like Brian could show up. I think that, all of these things coming to bite Mox in the ass should happen. But I think once again, Mox is in that class, that upper tier of performers where like if he says on Saturday morning, I don't want to lose, he's not gonna fucking lose. They let him do whatever the fuck he wants to do in that company. If he says I want to lose it to Darby, which is to me what it seemed like it has been for the last couple of months, then that's what's gonna happen. I think that Mox should probably retain.
Damn. I could see it happening. I don't know. I'm gonna go to up, but only because I've been. Not that AEW is like the highest on my tier of wrestling I watch every week, but it's steadily gone down because I knew at the end of the show, Homegirl was going to come out with a briefcase and they was going to be tying people up and, beating like they destroy everybody. I've been so tired of this Death Riders thing for a bit. And I mean, I don't know, because if you look at that poster, those are 3 big matches, which could have, 3 big, with big title implications. If they're not going to change one of those world titles, they need to change this one. If they're not changing this, that other world title match, that title needs to change. I don't think they can be having both resident champions leaving Texas on top. I don't know what that doesn't make sense to me coming out of All In.
But AEW is also a really heel heavy brand. Like all of the most popular things in that company are heels. Think about it, whenever there's a baby face with that title, business generally like goes down. Like that's why I'm like people are like, oh my god, like it's gonna be so much better when Paige gets it. I'm like, bro, when he was champion before, and they would focus on MJF at that point. Like he was not even the focus of that show at that point. Like they are very heel heavy, and that's why I think that they love the chase. Like as much as we talk about Triple H's booking, and I hate to like whataboutism, but I'm just using it as comparison here. Like he loves a heel champion, like he loves it, but he also understands when babyface champions need to put it down and they need to kind of restart everything, unless it's his world title, which is what I get. But like with this match in particular, I keep seeing people say what like it's going to change, everything's going to change. What is going to change? Other than you getting more matches with Hangman, like as much as people hate Mox, I understand it. I get it. He's not my favorite wrestler at all. I really do not enjoy watching that motherfucker wrestle at all. Yeah. He at the very least gives you the chase, and he gives the babyfaces something to do. Yeah. I don't think there is a heel right now, and this is especially if the Bucks lose earlier in the night. There is not a heel right now that Paige can go head up with right now that would make sense, other than like the Hurt guys, which
they don't feel like they want. They're not going to put that belt anywhere near Bobby Lashley.
Exactly.
I had a prediction. I said I think Bobby Lashley would go through an entire AEW run, potentially not even getting close to that belt.
I could see it
because if he gets there, unless it's like a multi-man kind of thing. If he gets there, he's gonna be like, "Wait, so why am I not? How am I losing?"
Exactly. No, exactly. But it's. I mean, we talk about it a lot. At least on BRP, like the company. Not saying they're not built for champions of that stature to be the actual guy.
Right.
They don't have a lot of. If he's champion, when you look and say, all right, who realistically looks like they could go toe to toe with him? It's just not built like that. It would be because they would throw Darby Allin's beating Samoa Joe, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it may not look the same, and I don't know. And this may be where Tony Khan's smart. Maybe he don't want that to happen to Bobby Lashley because he knows when you go to the AEW arena, they want to chant, "We hurt people, we hurt people," and they get their moment.
It's them tears. It's those tears. And if one thing we know about the Bucks and the Elite, we know about them, they're very sensitive. So if they're starting to get cheered over, they're gonna try and fuck that up. Look at what the Bucks doing right now. Like, they're gonna try and fuck that up. I just think that, like, it's very tough for me to think of anyone, especially with Darby imminently coming back. They're going to end up running or having to run Paige and Darby because they're so popular.
Yeah.
And then someone's going to have to turn. Inevitably, someone's going to have to turn again.
Yeah.
and Paige has been a heel for over, a year, 2 years now almost?
Yeah.
They're going to have to turn. And I just don't, and I know it's unpopular to say, I know. I'm not a fan of this either. It just makes more sense for Mox to lose it to a hotter returning babyface in Darby Allin than Paige, because, like, ultimately, like, who do people like more, Darby or Paige?
I think what the answer really is what Trump said, like what you said earlier. What does Moxley want to do? And if Darby is his guy, which you reminded me that was his man's. I remember clear as day the Wrestle Dream situation. Now, if you bring it up, I hate meaning that way, because that's a lot of months where I'm just like, you know what, click, or, you know, just mute, because I can't do some of the end of these shows, because
I look at it like Darby comes back, Paige comes up short, Darby comes back with Sting, Forbidden Door, there's like some type of tag match, something like that happens. You can carry this they managed to do it. You can carry this program to Wrestle Dream. Like, it can happen.
Yeah.
I just think that it's like Paige, to me, it seemed more like his storyline is going to be with Swerve for the time being. And this is just the kind of the main event match that they wanted to do to offset that.
Yeah, and the redemption doesn't come, I think, without Swerve, in my opinion. I think that's what kind of turned him evil. That's what kind of has had him for the last number of months, kind of like questioning himself in regards to, like, what he did to him. I guess the overall redemption arc for him would be some sort of, you know, coming together or something, mutual respect.
Well, I mean, this is the thing, right? I mean, because there's a couple of things at play here. Then, if Moxley wins, I would hope that would mean that the Young Bucks would also win, because if Swerve and Ospreay can't fight for a world title, at some point Swerve may have to be the bad guy in this situation. Get Paige to be a good guy. Swerve may even get so pissed off that during this Texas deck match clusterfuck, he's the one, he gets involved somehow and ends up costing Paige some type of situation, and then it's the two of them locked in until whenever they say.
Yeah, again, I do believe that the Bucks are going to win that match. I do believe that Ospreay, his title match is just look at the shut up peeps. I do believe they're saving him for next All In, and next year it's going to be Ospreay going for the title and him finally getting it. It's going to be interesting to see how they make that year-long storyline go, because like Ospreay's pretty much beating everybody. The only thing that he has to do is get his win backs on certain people, and that's about it. But that's their job to figure it out. Before we move on to the next show, I want to talk about Mercedes Moné, Toni Storm. That is the other kind of big thing, and also Okada and Kenny Omega. It's funny that with all of the trepidation and worry about this mock stuff, these matches are kind of being left, because like everyone's like already know what this is. Everyone's like, they better end the show correctly. I think these are way more indicative of what direction they're about to be going in with these two matches coming out here.
Well, go ahead, Khal.
I was teasing it earlier. Actually, good point. Damn that match for a second. I understand the idea of having Toni Storm win. I could see people saying that being a thing. it's taken so long for them to do this. I was just looking at the All In 2024 and Mercedes and Britt Baker. I know they was cool, but like there's been opportunity after opportunity for them to make this match. On the run Mercedes has been on. She wanted to dance and have all the belts, put another one on the other side. Give her that damn title. Give who could be one of the most recognized faces in your company that world women's title, and just let her have it. I mean, it's what they do. It's what they did to Eddie Kingston. It's what they did to FDR, at Kenny Omega. Anytime they all start collecting belts, then you got to start giving them belts away at some point. So let her do it now. 5 months down the road, Christmas time, she want to go on vacation. She start winding down and giving those belts away, or whatever the case may be.
Giving them belts away.
I just think you mortgage so much of that division on like and that goes on both ends, because I still feel like Toni Storm and Megan Bayne should have had a more competitive feud. She rolled her up and then like they never ran it back, and now Megan's on Collision.
Rolled her up, packed her up. You know what I'm saying?
It like she's never been the same since that. And to Mercedes' point, Chris Statlander had a great series of matches with her, packed her out. It's over with. I mean, this is really the only women's match on the card. I mean, there's a Casino Gauntlet that they had with the women, but just the kind of like the state of the AEW women's division is like, for a long time, this is the only match on the card, and then it's like everybody else 2 through 32. I mean, 3 through 32 on the card got to like figure it out amongst themselves or something along those lines. Let's pull up this chat real quick. Richard says Roman had both world titles. See, the issue with this is that the women's division in AEW is not as big as the men's division was. Roman could technically be off TV, and there were still people that could counteract that. It's literally the reason that they had to create a whole other separate division for Raw because of this, and filled it out with all of their workers, Gunther, Seth, everybody there. That is the difference between that. If Mercedes wins the world title, there is literally no other woman that she has not beaten in that division. And that's why I'm like, when she loses, like she's gonna lose to all the people she already beat twice.
But to me, just to be honest with you, it don't really make sense for her to lose.
And no, I agree. Yeah. I agree. That's why I said that it was so short-sighted to do this, because eventually you have to give it up. And my thing is this: you're all going to be very upset if half of these titles she just relinquishes and does not get the pin for, which is what it looked like is going to happen. I think she will win it.
Goes back to WWE.
I think she will win it. She'll hold the titles up like Stephanie Vaquera did, and she will relinquish the TBS one and start relinquishing the other one she has and just be the world champion. Or she will merge them, which will piss off people even more. That's actually worst case scenario if she merges those two titles.
I hadn't thought about, but I mean, because Omega Okada, that they're merging those belts, right? That's a winner take all to new title situation. It could happen, but I think, to your earlier point, Meelz, I think, like you were saying, they have this show, they're booking their biggest matches. Outside of anybody else in the women's division right now, those are the two titans. It was inevitable. This match was Thanos on this show. It had to happen. Future be damned. You know, even to extend that even further, because like you said, it's that division has been bleak. I'm glad they're doing this. It probably could have been, if there was a little more time to have built this a little more, or to build the characters around them, the supporting cast around the division a little better. But they had to do it.
That's what I said. I think they missed an interesting. So I kind of have a few thoughts about this match. I think they missed a good opportunity in. I'm still not sure why Mercedes is undefeated. I know that she's really, really good, but I don't think that she should be undefeated in this company. And you'd probably add more intrigue to the match if she had taken a loss at this point. Now you're going to be wondering, hey, I mean, will she take her first loss? But then you won't be surprised if she doesn't. But so that's one thing. Another thing is, again, to me, it doesn't make sense if she necessarily loses. Like you get all these belts. I think this is low key like, they're gonna, when they do her entrance, it's gonna be like a branding sponsorship opportunity. You're just gonna see all the belts, Ref Pro, all these other. They're gonna give shout outs to all the promotions. Essentially, they're like asking probably promotions like, "Hey man, you give her the belt, get a chance on All In." You know what I'm saying? A lot of people gonna watch.
The sponsorship package.
I see the promotional aspect of it. I see the promotional aspect of it. I question the damage it will do after she wins. It's the foregone conclusion. I truly question the damage that it will do to the division after this happens. This isn't Floyd Mayweather, boxing. This shit is fake. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not all of this. Like, I think ultimately you have to think about what this will be doing to the Chris Statlanders, the Willow Nightingales. All of these women were basically victims of this reign. You know what I mean? Like, they're victims. And again, I keep seeing the Roman comparisons, and I'm like, this is not the same. It is literally not the same. He was not beating lower card guys. In fact, he brought people into his orbit and made them better and made their characters better. We have not seen that. We have not seen that with this reign.
This is more like Kenny. This is go back in the early pandemic and see when AEW and Impact linked up and Kenny was the belt collector. This is more that, down to the costume and him talking, all the comic book references. Like, it feels more like that than that 3-year bloodline run.
Yeah.
So hashtag Meelz booking right here. So I had this idea of, like, when she does win the belt, essentially what I think you should do at this point, she does win the belt, she comes out on the Dynamite afterwards, and she's standing in the ring, and the rest of the roster is kind of like standing on the stage. You know, kind of how they do those things where it's like a what do they call it?
Summit.
Yeah, summit or state of the address or something along those lines to the women's division. And she could essentially say, like, I've done it all. I've won it all. It's time for them to find a new challenger for me. And I will be back when you guys find a new challenger. So it kind of like pushes her to the left a little bit and says, it forces the company, okay, how are we going to properly establish this division moving forward? Who are we going to do? And you, of course, have the Women's Casino Gauntlet winner. I'm not sure when they're going to cash in. It's supposed to be any cash in, but they kind of like I won't say they ruined it, but the first Casino Gauntlet winner who got the notepad cashed in unsuccessfully. So it's already at a hit rate of 0.
Okay. Jesus. Okay.
So it's already at a hit rate of 0. They essentially says ultimately this stipulation is not above our reigns or business or people involved and stuff like that.
Who's in that top echelon? I put Mercedes there as well.
Christian Cage felt that heat.
He still hasn't cashed in either, so I'm pretty sure he's going to come.
No, he did. He just lost.
Oh yeah, he did. Oh, did he?
He did during Edge. Remember the Edge match? He tried to come in during the Edge match.
That's right. Yeah,
I forgot. He blew it. So it's
he got choked out. I forgot about that.
Was I there for that? Was that in Jersey? Was I there for that?
I think so.
I think I saw it
World's End? I think it was World's End.
If it wasn't World's End, it was Full Gear. One of the two. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway,
my guy said at Revolution. He said
it was at Revolution. I do remember that though. That was type ridiculous. But
yeah, it was kind of crazy. I mean, you have that kind of there. I wouldn't put Tony Storm there either, but essentially AEW has to figure out the rest of its women's division before it can proceed because Mercedes has already beaten everybody.
Narrator. Narrator. They won't. Let's go to Okada Omega real quick. Let me just say this is just two old niggas that's trying to hoop. I think they will try to attempt to go. And listen, I say this to anybody. The reason I would stick with AEW, I told my boy Pafif, he was like, should I watch AEW? And I was like, listen, you watch AEW really for the matches. You know what I mean? You don't really watch for anything else. The stuff between the ears,
facts.
Ain't much going on there. Especially with this Kenny Omega story. They damn near killed the nigga. You know what I mean? He just talks back up like nothing happens. I think that the reason I stick around with it is because I love Kenny Omega. I feel as though Kenny Omega could have been, in my eyes, so much more than what he is right now on this show, where it's just like, we need you for just these matches. I think that there's times where he shows flashes of greatness. I think that Okada has been completely lazy for the past year. And to that effect, get your bag, player.
Yes.
But that's really not what people was expecting when they signed you.
Nope.
This match, to me, seems tailor-made for Okada to win and for Okada to unify those titles, and for Okada to go on and face Takeshita, and for them to finally start pushing Takeshita to the upper level. And that's what I think about the match thus far.
I like everything you said right there. I to the point where I'm Okada's been lazy, but he just had that. What was that match he had the other day? Was it
Ibushi?
Yeah, with him and Ibushi. That was ill. It feels like a situation. I'm not saying he's there because they're not. I don't know how many stars Meltzer is going to be trying to pull for this match, but if you go back in history, they've had their list of
great matches
of those matches. I hopefully they can get somewhere close to some of those. I think Okada can do it. My fear is more for Omega because there's been a good amount of time, and especially what was some of them last bangers? Was it those Ospreay matches he had? Those feel like they were a couple years ago. I would love to see it, and I hope they can rise that level. But he's the one I've been questioning about when it comes to this match on this stage because he's going to go for it. But Kenny,
but like. I mean, what gives me concern is that Kenny said I could have ended it. I could have ended my career after the Gabe Kidd match in January, and I was just like, that match wasn't like the greatest to me. So like, if you said you could, it was just bloody. If you said that you could have ended it after that, that's kind of concerning. It's with Kenny, it's just you wondering how much longer he has to go. He's not that old.
He doesn't seem that hungry for it really anymore.
But he got that Lesnar. What I mean, I think
it's gut, right?
Yeah, I think it's I think part of it may be I was the man out in Japan for a minute. I got to come home. People thought we was the underdogs. They probably still think we're underdogs. We were able to carve this thing out in the pro wrestling world. Like he's done a lot of things. Then life slapped him in the face and told him to sit down for a little bit. I could see him being like, what's on my pro wrestling bucket list? And how soon can I get? It's not a John Cena thing, but I think at a certain point he's going to sit down because his style he has to be going hard. And if he can't go as hard as he wants to because he's got like real life situation. I thought when Lesnar went back to do UFC, I said, "You crazy? They hit you for real. Like anything could happen with one of these flips and a death match. Anything could go wrong." And so I think that's him saying, "Hey, I got to be real about what my body can actually take in these pro wrestling streets."
Kenny,
how crazy is it that over last month we got Cena and Punk? And now we're getting Omega versus Okada.
Hey, and Cena Punk was actually a banger. It actually lived up to what I wanted it to live up to within John Cena's limitations, within Punk's limitations. I mean, I never would have thought I would have saw the day when I literally said out of my mouth, Punk is moving a lot better than John Cena is, because that was not the case.
It's like watching your favorite hooper at like age 37. Yeah. And he just don't have the lift he used to, but mentally they know how to like work the angles, and that's kind of like how this is, and that's really what I'm expecting. I'm fully expecting Kenny Omega and Okada to attempt to kill themselves. Just no word, like it's just a given. Punk and Cena are a lot more safe with it. He's like, I got movie roles, I got kids, well, actually, none of them have kids, but they move like they got kids.
They move like they're trying to protect themselves for the next 20 years, where they can still get that heads of state money.
Listen,
whereas this match is not going to be that.
Kenny, preserve yourself, brother, because there's a brighter light for you up north, and I think you should really think about that. I think you should, if you want to get that last bag, Kenny could work a Brock Lesnar schedule in WWE. Get the dream matches he wants, and then go off into the suns. He could go back to AEW if he wants to. You know what I mean?
He probably have to. He probably have to. Yeah.
I would just do a 2-year. If I were him, it wouldn't even be a Brock. It was just like sign me for 2 years. Yeah, let me just do a couple of them and
get one WrestleMania under your belt. Debut of Survivor Series, one WrestleMania under your belt, then dip. Get the dream matches out the way before all your contemporaries get old as well. They could realistically, y'all, do CM Punk, Kenny Omega, but that's all I'm saying. Anyway,
Jesus Christ,
let's run into Great American Bash real quick.
We got a couple more minutes with Khal for sure. Yeah,
real quick. Nah, but I mean, that's all you can do with this show. It's not too much on the card so far.
That's a fact.
Great American Bash is going to be in Atlanta. The build for this has been like, if you want to talk about niggas saying Evolution build, don't got no fucking build. Are you fucking kidding me compared to this show?
Right. Right.
Compared to this fucking show. And I like NXT pay-per-views largely. This one seems like the most, like, and we always say this about NXT, right? We're like, this one just doesn't seem like it's gonna hit. It's not gonna be it. Then it ends up being fucking great. That could still happen. Like, but from what we have right now, we got Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dame for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe versus Fatal Influence, and Oba Femi versus Yoshiki Inamura for the NXT Championship. And we'll just pencil in Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints, which, in my opinion, needs to be loser leaves NXT. It needs to be that. It needs to be loser leaves NXT. I feel like it's gonna be some type of death match stipulation, like a knockout match or some shit like that. But
imagine imagine a Texas death match.
An Atlanta street fight. That's what it'll be. An Atlanta street fight.
A Peachtree brawl. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be Jonesboro South Young Thug street fight. It needs to be. I think Ethan Page needs to go. I think that if the thought is in the next couple of months, LA Knight will move to Raw, right? Which he looked good on Raw this week. He looked like he belonged. They loved him on Raw.
They definitely loved him on Raw.
I know you got your thoughts on LA Knight.
I love when the crowd gets what they want. I know what's going to happen. I've seen this show before. I know what's going to happen. But hey, no, and I mean it's not like he's rocking with a bum. Him going up against Rollins, that's going to be a good time for him until they find the next thing for him to do.
Yeah, so like if the idea that he goes to Raw, Ethan Page should go to SmackDown. I think Ethan Page is a good shooter for SmackDown, and have Ricky come out a little bit later than that. This match needs to be a fucking
Magic City Brawl.
This match needs to be loser leaves NXT. But those are like the 4 matches we have. Very haphazard booking. I pray for Cyrus and Quan on this one. I don't really know what you can glean. We'll see after Tuesday. I don't really know what you can glean from this show. It's like between the 2 shows that they do, this is clearly like the least important one. But I mean,
there's only gonna be 800 people there, or 800 to 1,000 people there.
Yeah, it's a center stage, right? It's a center stage.
Yeah, it's a center stage. There's not a lot of people there. And the reason why people are like, oh my God, it hasn't sold out yet. Well, they've been, it costs more to go here than it does Saturday night's main event, for sure. Yeah. It's like at least $100 more to go to this one.
Center stage has a lot of history with it. And center stage, and I will say this, the ticket pricing for center stage is basically due to how prestigious that venue is. Mm-hmm. That venue charges like that all the fucking time. I've been to concerts at center stage. It's like that. Like, I think that, again, like people are like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, fellas, women, it's ridiculous like that for everything in center stage. It's because of what that venue is. And for Atlanta, it's that and Fox Theater are like the top 2 right there. Yeah, I'm not defending it, but I'm like, this it's normal. I've been to concerts there, but I'm thinking with this one, you're gonna need something like spectacular, massive blowout in order to surprise people, to get people to this show.
I think the main event is going to be a banger. I think this Femi versus Inamura.
Inamura wins.
I've never even considered that.
I don't know. If he did, then it was Josh Briggs in Gorilla with a pistol or something like that. Oba Femi. Inamura going to give him a banger too.
He told his family he'd be back in March.
Right. Don't worry. Whatever you see, don't worry.
And his wife is like, it's July. He's like, I'm getting a bag, honey. I'm made of that bag.
I said this a couple weeks ago on the War Report. Inamura is a known liar, ain't he? This nigga be lying his ass off. I think that's gonna come into play at some point for this character. I think a good character turn will come to pass for this character. But obviously we think Oba's gonna win. I think Oba's gonna win too. As far as this tag match with Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe versus Fatal Influence, I've been saying this, I've been shouting this from the mountaintops. I think Blake needs to be a heel. I think she needs to be the one to take over Fatal Influence. Mm-hmm. And I think the best way for them to make that happen would be for them to, it don't even matter. I think they could win this match or lose this match. Cause I think that Jordan and Blake are going to lose because you want to have more concern about whether Jordan can get the job done in Evolution the next night. Right. I think Blake should take over at Fatal Influence. I think she should take over the whole thing. When would that shit? Because I could next night
see that happen.
The next night,
literally Evolution.
Yeah, that she could cost JC JC the title, boot JC the fuck out of there. I think JC also needs to go. My only thing right now is that the women's division main roster is so fucking stacked. I don't know
Ain't
where
no
she is.
room. It ain't
And
no
there's
room.
no room
I
for her
mean,
right now.
you could probably finesse a United States title SmackDown
True.
thing, but realistically, like, but also, I think the Intercontinental title. I mean, there's only so many. It's hot now.
Yeah.
But what about in like 3 months?
Hey, well, no, look,
Hey,
you put whenever you put JC Jane on that roster. You remember Lean on Me when the brother came to the school. He's like, "No, man, I'm just making a run." He was like, "You'll be dead in a year." I don't know, like at a certain because if we're saying U.S. Intercontinental, I'm looking at where Zelina's at right now, and like there's only so many women that's going to be bouncing around some of them positions, and when they go to cutting, you'll be dead in a year. It just is what it is.
JC could carve out a good niche because look at the mid card heels right now. It's just Chelsea Green on SmackDown, and that's it. I think if you add JC to that mix to go against Zelina to provide some friction, in some way, shape, or form, because again, Julia also needs mid card baby faces. She don't really have a lot of those right now.
Right.
My only concern is that JC's not. And I love JC. JC's not readily drop in and it's gonna work like Julia.
Yeah.
JC requires time. It took us years
to
get to this point with JC.
Right.
She's not readily like you can drop in and kind of like hope it works. You know what I'm saying? Like Stephanie or Julia or Roxanne or any of that. It takes time because she doesn't really have like the presence aura kind of vibe, but she has the skill and she has all the kind of like things that you kind of have to. Over time, you get to see. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But Great American Bash, listen, 2:30 Saturday.
Jesus.
It's going up against All In. I mean, God bless.
It ain't a fight. I don't think they're going up against All In, bro. That's just a show that's on. Like this is gonna be a show that's on TV.
Absolutely. Double screen it. But want to say. Thank you, Khal, for joining us.
Salute. Thank y'all. Happy 400. One get happy 400.
Thank you, man. We throwing us a fantastic foe this month and 400. You know what I'm saying? We
not Superman's.
Oh no, I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that. That's getting seen twice this week.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Things is low key picking up. I ain't gonna hold you, but yeah, we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah,
congrats on the 400. Good luck. Following that, whoever else is on the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely. No. Tell them where they talk Black Wrestling, where they can follow you in Black Wrestling and everything.
BlackWrestling.com at Khal on Twitter, at Black Wrestling on all social medias, BlackWrestling.com. Every Thursday night, 8:35 p.m. with all the other Black podcasts. We give you 5 mics of podcast excellence over on YouTube, youtube.com/Black Wrestling. Shouts out to Fam, Math, Mimi, DDM, the whole squad. And if you want, because I know the A shows on the Patreons, RC's on Patreon. Patreon.com/Black Wrestling 3 times a week. You can find me watching all types of nonsense over there.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Salute
to the chat. Salute to y'all.
All right. Thank you, Khal.
Take it easy.
Peace.
Absolutely. Listen, man.
We moving. We live.
We live. You're still here. 400 episodes.
Thanks to the chat that's been active and it's been, you know what I'm saying, like this whole time. We still got a lot of show left to go.
Absolutely. We still got a whole episode. We still got at least 2 more of them events to go through this week.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna do something live that I can't do during the regular show. You know what that is?
What?
Go to the bathroom.
Oh, there you go. All right. So we are here. Let me go through the rest of this AEW All In card while we wait for our second guest. I can't believe you did that. I wanted to go to the bathroom. But with that said, let's see. We've got Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay. All right, never mind. We got our second guest here. Fuck Justin. See, we don't need to. When people are on time, like who needs other people? You know what I'm saying? So I want to intro our next guest before Justin comes back from the bathroom, which will be literally in seconds. We have none other than the man, the myth himself. He is none other than and then he left. We're live. Come back, Novak. With that said,
all right, I'm back.
All right. How was
Listen,
it?
I can't usually do that. You know what I'm saying? Usually, like, I gotta wait. Y'all don't realize what it's like to do the show like this, right? Like, we do 2 hours of show every week, right? And really the reason why we do 2 hours now is because me and Meelz, like, we pretty much just have our whole days left out. We usually used to try to cut it like 140, 130. I will hold it the whole time. Then we're
I'll
doing
hold it the whole
Patreon.
time. Shoot, my bladder is strong. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I understand what the commentators go through on Monday Night Raw, because I'm a bathroom user, and when I go to the movies, I fucking go to the bathroom twice during every movie. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, without fail. You feel me?
Which part do you go to the bathroom during the movie? Like, when do you decide it's a good
You
time to go
can
to the
usually
bathroom?
tell. You can, when there's a part where I could tell, like, like the general flow of a movie. Unless a movie's terrible and I have no clue what the flow is. Like, I'll go, like, I went to go see I went to see F1 a couple weeks ago, and I had to go to the bathroom. I was like, oh, this is about to be. It's like Brad Pitt and a lady talking, and like I just basically just ran to the bathroom. I was like, I know they're just gonna be talking. You know what I mean? And plus, I've been running. I've been going on like morning runs and being active.
Oh,
Like,
we gonna talk about that next week. I'm
I
so
be
excited that you're running.
I be peeing, bro. I be peeing. Anyway, we got another guest on the show. Our pal Chris Novak, excellent writer, excellent interviewer, friend of the show, friend of the chat. He's been around for so fucking long. What's going on, Novak?
I'm doing all right, guys. Thanks for having me on. Congrats on 400 episodes.
We
Yes,
are
sir.
here, man. Glad to have you, man. Glad to have you here for 400 episodes. How have you been? How's been the life? You know, you're with us. You're with people who are also experiencing the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're with family.
I got laid off back in April, which is what it is. It's not my first rodeo. I went home for the first time in 3 years last month, which was nice. Between COVID and flights and me needing to find a job, stockpile some money or whatever, I wasn't able to get out there. But finally got out there. It was nice to be back out there. I was there for I think 3 weeks, which was really convenient. I could have honestly done that if I was still working, because I have a work from home job. But other than that, life's good.
Glad to hear it.
This is the Simpsons meme where Homer pats the couch. Like, come on over, buddy. Join us. We're here. We're all here. It's okay. We're gonna get back on our feet, man. That's just what it is. But I'm glad you're on the show with us as we talk about the final 2 events that we got this weekend. Saturday night's main event and Evolution. We'll start on Saturday with Saturday night's main event. This is a strange show. Do we think they're adding 2 more matches to this? Because they just announced 3 and they're not going that long for sure, right?
I feel like we get another. I mean, we got to get a women's match at some point, right?
I don't know. Like, what could there be?
I mean, it's Evolution is like literally.
Because the thing is, like, they have everything going on Sunday for the women, so it only feels fair that they keep it that way. So if they did a show with all dudes in that occasion, I wouldn't mind it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I don't think anyone
for sure.
Yeah, I don't think anyone should feel bad that we don't have a shoehorn Chelsea Greens and Lena Vega match going on this Saturday.
Hey, man, you know who might be bad about that? Chelsea Green.
But what we have here on Saturday night's main event is Goldberg's final match. And I can completely understand if they decided to spend a lot of the match or a lot of the show talking about certain things that pertain to Goldberg and treating this like it's a big farewell show. And again, WWE is lucky this year to be getting 2 farewell shows out of 2 of some of the biggest acts in wrestling history. They have Goldberg this month, and in the middle of December, they're going to have John Cena's farewell show, which I'm quite sure is going to be elaborate, to say the least. I'm pretty sure they're going to have his jerseys in the rafters. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be fucking ridiculous. But I mean, thoughts going into this as Goldberg's final match kind of looms. I think, and we talked about some of the A show before. I do not like the revisionist history that we've been doing with this guy for the past month and a half, with people knowing that he's coming out and people being like, I can't believe this. This is terrible. It's not fair. I can't believe they make Gunther do this. Like, chill out. It's his job. He's got to do this. It's his job.
Yeah, this is just kind of what's happened with how things have disseminated with WCW going under and with Goldberg's legacy being in just anybody's hands to take and do whatever they want with it. But you go back, in 98, there was one match that people wanted to see, and it was Goldberg versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everyone wanted to see that match. It was in all the wrestling magazines. I know it was in, I think WOW was one of the magazines that was promoting that. Obsessed with Wrestling definitely did too. So Goldberg's popularity at his peak, despite, maybe not being, a wrestler or whatever, like it's unmatched, unparalleled. He was a phenomenon that was unlike any other before and after. So I think it's a shame. I think people, there needs to be, and I know there's the vault that they've had with WCW. There needs to definitely be some more education on things like this, especially with Goldberg, whose narrative again has just been in control of the internet for the last 20 years, and they haven't. I don't think they've done him any sort of service in any sort of way.
Yeah, because all you hear is like, it's strange. Like you hear so many people say, "I don't like working with the guy. I hate the guy. I don't fuck with the guy," et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like when you actually sit down and listen to Goldberg interviews, it's like it seems like he's a guy that has always he's protected his character more than most have. And I think that's why it's so funny that him and Bret Hart have such a contentious relationship, obviously for obvious reasons. But those two are like way more alike than people like to think. They're both like extremely big, kind of like serious marks for themselves, which is okay. As a wrestler, you have to be.
I also think Goldberg cares a lot. Like that's just one thing that stuck out to me. I remember they did his documentary where he was having that run and he did the Saudi show and all the terrible things happened in that. But one thing that really stood out to me during the entire thing was like how much he cares, how much he's like, I don't want to let the people down. So I need to be 3 months ready, 3 months out, preparing myself in top shape to be able to look like the Goldberg that they want. I want to be able to even provide the moments and be the superhero that people need. He strikes me as someone who cares a lot, and he cared for the last number of years about having this final match. I mean, most people would have been like, all right, well, whatever. I don't really need to. I've made a lot of money. I can kind of go on my terms, whatever. Or they would have been like Ric Flair and set up whatever Carney show that you have to have your own last match, and it'd be terrible. But he's like, I care about this match. He's been seeking this match, and he finally gets this match. And I'm just like, I know we're not tripping on like how awesome Goldberg was. Like, sure, he's old, duh. But it's like this is wrestling. Like this is,
and we allowed Taker to have so many comeback matches when he clearly couldn't go anymore. And like come on, man. Taker's final match was in a cinematic match. You know what I mean? Like, and obviously, like the implications of what would have happened with AJ Styles had COVID not happened is a big what if. We'll never know. But like he got to go out on his own terms too. You know.
The other thing also about Goldberg compared to all those guys that you just mentioned, I can guarantee you they're not going to work a long match or whatever on Saturday Night's Main Event. This is going to be in and out. That's Goldberg to a T. I think also you talked about Meelz, how much he shows that he cares. I think he also has just owned it. I don't think he's ever tried to be something that he isn't or pretended to be something that he isn't in terms of how people talk about him or how he talks about himself. So I think he's owned it. And there's a charm to authenticity, I think, to some degree.
Yeah, I say this all the time. He's wrestling's last superhero. Like he's wrestling's last superhero. It's fitting that this comes out on the weekend of Superman because we're seeing the end of one. You know what I mean? Yeah. Goldberg was 100% that back in the day. The jackhammer. You remember the first time you fucking saw the jackhammer? I'd never seen anything like that in my fucking life. You know what I'm saying? Like he is the personification of a superhero, and I think in terms of the Gunther of it all. This is a huge. I think someone said in the chat. It's like Sam P said in the chat. This is a huge notch on his belt. This is a great moment for Gunther to add to his legacy. Gunther's always a champion. He's not always going to be able to get matches like this. You know what I mean? Like I think one of my matches that I've always wanted to see Gunther have is with Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? Who's to say we'll ever get that at this point? You know what I mean? This is a chance for him to kind of etch his self into that history. But what are we thinking with this match? What are we thinking? 6 minutes. I keep saying 6 minutes, 5-minute classics. What's the over under on chops? What's the over under on this match? Like, what are we thinking?
I say probably start off with a lot of posturing and then
Luther rolling out the ring.
Yeah, one of those things.
Yeah, like one fake spear attempt or whatever, and Gunther definitely gets out of the ring. He keeps trying. The crowd boos him or whatever. Gets back in.
Right.
I can see that.
Maybe a ref bump. I feel like H is good for one of those. You know what I'm saying?
I would say his son would be there, but he might be in camp right now for college football.
Okay.
I don't know.
Who's
if
he
we're
play
gonna
for?
He was a walk-on for Colorado.
Okay.
So he might be out in Boulder.
Okay. Yeah, my interest is like seeing what Triple H and that team thinks a Goldberg match is. I think Vince I think the second time around, Vince fully got what he was. I don't remember who produced those matches with Brock at the time. Maybe Heyman might have been involved, actually. I think Heyman might have been involved since it was with Brock. But like, I wonder what Triple H and that team thinks of a Goldberg. That's gonna be most interesting because he's only got one shot to do this. He's got to have it come off right. So, are we thinking potential cash in, or are we just gonna let the show end? Because I feel like last Saturday night's main event 2 months ago, things actually happened. A lot of things actually happened. Do we think there would be a big moment with this match in particular?
That's a good question. I don't think so because it's so weird to think about this just because it's like you can't picture Goldberg winning this because that would reset things on Raw too much right now, and they don't need to do that on the road to SummerSlam.
Yeah,
but he's gonna lose in his hometown. So
it's his last match, though. That's really
his last match. Is he gonna get a farewell? Is he gonna get a curtain call? And like that is that how they're gonna end it, or are they gonna do an angle because it's pro wrestling and everything is carny as hell? So,
yeah.
I think I can't see. I just can't see him getting cashed in on. I would be sick.
He's so protected.
I would be sick if someone even brings up to like, I know it's your last match, but you really need Seth to set up the SummerSlam thing.
Well, what if Gunther wins and gets cashed in on? I think my whole thing is they need to do the full callback to Goldberg. Bring out the taser, bring out the motherfucking the pipe, all that shit that's ever beaten him in life. And bring all of that
windshield. Just bring a windshield.
Yeah, bring a windshield. Punch this. Here it goes. Punch that shit. No, I think it's gonna be enjoyable. I love Goldberg. but I do think that I think
we might get a cash in attempt, and Goldberg decides to spear everybody out their boots.
That's crap out of Seth. Yeah,
that would be dope.
Because also, in the previous match that he tried to cash in on with Punk and Cena, they both teamed up against him. So is it now going to be that people are going to catch on to the people who are cashing in, which I personally would approve, just because it would be a different wrinkle. So I could see Seth coming down and eating a spear. That
would be dope. And then that leads to Goldberg losing because he's trying to be the hero that he is. Just like people love when Punk and Cena teamed up. That would be a cool moment if Gunther and Goldberg teamed up as well. Leading to Gunther, of course, being like "fuck that" and then beating his ass. This is kind of outside of Saturday night's main event. What the hell is Seth doing for SummerSlam? There's been they alluded to Roman on Monday. Punk hasn't been seen since Night of Champions. Are they running that triple threat back? Because that's what I'm thinking is probably going to happen. Is like they run that triple threat back for Mania.
That would be nasty, but
I know. But it's like
because Roman's like I'm not doing this twice.
Roman don't do one-on-one matches no more.
But I feel like go ahead, Novak.
It's hard to call, but I feel like all roads are going to end up leading to Punk Seth because they've already wrestled twice, and their second one did it get messed up, or did Roman come in after the end?
Roman helped Seth win.
That's right, because he pulled. Yeah, that's right.
He pulled him out the cage.
Yeah, he gave him the satisfaction of winning. So we haven't had a third match yet. That feels like an appropriate stage. And part of me just feels like Becky's going to end up joining them because once she drops that title, what's she going to do? I don't think that with how things are going, we'll talk about this when we talk about Evolution. With how things are going, I don't think that she's going to be a world title contender. So she's got to stay busy somehow.
Yeah. So she's got to stay at the top somehow too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, she's got to stay a top figure. Stay on TV, Absolutely. Get her equity, get her TV time.
I think Punk will show up at Saturday Night's Main Event. I don't think Roman comes back until SummerSlam though. That's my overall thought. I don't think Roman comes back until SummerSlam. I think he's going to do the other SummerSlam to November run again.
Absolutely. Let's move over to Evolution because there's a lot to talk
We didn't
about.
talk about Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. Isn't everyone excited about that match for the 18th time?
No, I mean,
I'm more excited for Drew Cody. I would like to see it at some point.
Yeah, this
I'd
fall,
love to see Drew Cody.
This
that,
fall,
that could be a good fastball for both of them.
Yeah,
absolutely. Or Seth, LA Knight moving on Monday Night Raw like he damn Stone Cold Steve Austin at this point. So that's definitely a match that's going on. But it's none of this is bigger than Evolution, man. Evolution is here. Like
bigger than the bird.
7 years. I would love if I know people would be pissed. If Evolution was like every 4 years, like the Olympics or something.
That would be fine because, like, again, you get to see the difference in the rosters from year to year.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
I think that's it's a greater snapshot to me for that. I get what you're saying. I don't think it's as crazy as you would think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see it every 8 years, but I think or 7 years rather. But I think every couple of years, you really do get to see the snapshot of the division. It's something that people can kind of think. You get it, you set it on your calendar, and you can kind of like, okay, we're working not necessarily towards this, but in celebration of this. But like 2025, like what is Evolution? Like what is 2018? This was like a celebration of women's wrestling, and in large part it still kind of is. But I feel like in 2025, considering how WWE has changed, how it's evolved, how women are just now they're really like cornerstones, draws, everything like that. Like what is kind of like Evolution today?
It's a much more normalized show, and I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that for the last 10 years or so, since they called up Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha in July of 2015.
10 years to the day. That's crazy, isn't it?
10 years, yeah, 10 years. Wild. Since then, what they did, like right from the jump, even if it was, weird warfare or whatever between three teams, they had the women working long matches on TV to tell you, like, okay, you're going to see women working long matches on TV. The audience immediately accepted it. And just since then, in the last 7 years, there's been so much stuff that's happened for the women in that company that, as much as you want to try to big up the event, it's like they've done so much. They've main evented Mania twice.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a Royal Rumble every year. They didn't up until that, but that was the first one months prior.
Yeah.
They've had all sorts of gimmick matches. They've run Hell in a Cells. They've done ladder matches. They've done TLC. They've had 3 new sets of titles introduced since that show in October of 2018, including four months later with the tag titles. So you can do a lot to make it seem like a big deal, but like women's wrestling in WWE is so normalized that the show just is going to feel like a normal premium live event. And yeah, Queen of the Ring also. As I saw someone in the chat pointed out, that's another thing that's happened.
Yeah, Evolution was a show that was like a ends to a means, and now it seems like it's a show that is like very much within the pantheon of your No Mercies and things like that. Like I'm seeing a lot of people say like, oh, they don't care, they treated it like this, they treated it like that. I'm like, if you guys wanted it to be treated like it's a participation thing, you guys would be way more pissed about that. Like the women have actually. Like we can argue all day about like, yes, the time and they still don't got the timing right. They still don't have all of the time that I feel as though the women need all the time, especially in Mania season, especially like times like right now where like a lot of the times they don't show up on TV or they're doing things like that. But like you can't say that they're not a normal fixture on this show and they're not given time. There are weeks where SmackDown is literally all women and that was a 3-hour show. You know what I mean? Like they've given them a lot of time. I think with this, it's all about, we should be getting excited for the matches. In my opinion, we should be getting excited to see what the fuck these matches are about to be, because that's the impressive part. Is like, okay, how are they going to make it so that the men have to catch up and see what they're doing and do better at SummerSlam? Because I think routinely at all the big shows, and I think both of us, all three of us here can say on this, the women still the show at Mania. They stole the show this year at Mania. They did it a year ago as well, and the year before that. We don't. There's no question that they have what it takes. I think shows like this prove that they need to be getting more time to do it. And I think, other than the build or whatever. Like that's what this show needs to be doing more than anything.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
And if I may, every year the discourse is always, are they going to main event WrestleMania or are they not going to? And everyone, when they don't, because it's it's hard to do that in general, but because you have to have so many factors going. Where are the campaigns to main event like SummerSlam? Why aren't I seeing anything for Crown Jewel in Perth or something like that? Or everyone wants Rhea to get her moment in Elimination Chamber when they were in Perth. She got it. That was cool. Keep doing more of that. That's the uncharted territory. Now you can't just make them main event every year, because also it's still, there's 2 world titles. Someone's gonna get their feelings hurt somehow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if there's no added incentive for anybody to get main events in the contracts or whatever, what does it really matter?
Yeah.
Just go shoot for that stuff, because you've already done that. I wish there was more calls for that. And that's where the discussion would land, not just this hoping, wishing, and wish casting or whatever at Mania season, and then it just being all chaos after it doesn't happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
As far as Evolution this year, it was announced about a month ago. It was actually rumored a lot earlier than that.
Yeah.
We knew it was coming for a while. With reports that Jade would have a huge presence there, and she does. And that there would be a lot of people there. I think that with this build, there was a huge elephant in the room that I think people don't consider, and that being that Liv Morgan is not on this show. I think Liv Morgan was to be the Nikki Bella, Ronda Rousey kind of rabble rouser. Remember that was the first time around. That was kind of the spark that kind of sparked the show the first time. Liv seemed to be that kind of catalyst this year, and she got injured about 3 weeks ago and is off the show, which left the Nikki Bella program in flux for a very, very, very terrible reason. But now we still have a card. We still have a lot of things going on. So let's run the card through. I actually want to start with the NXT Women's Championship. JC Jane versus Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's Championship. Now, the night before, we just talked about this with Khal. There's going to be a tag match with Jordan Blake versus Fatal Attraction. I think they're going to lose that match. I think that you have them lose that to set more doubt in not only Blake, but also in Jordan. And then you lead up to this match. What are we thinking? I'm going to start with you, Meelz.
Surely Jordan can't lose this match, right?
She gets so many chances to win this title.
Surely she can't lose this match is all that's really going through my head. But I also don't feel like she's been ingratiated enough into the NXT roster to really have a kind of mark on thing. Don't get me wrong, she's great. And I can see them kind of really mimicking what TNA did during her run, similar with this run. You have a great worker. You have a lot of, women who are essentially on the come up. It really depends on how long you want to keep Jordan Grace. There was rumors that she was going up to SmackDown. She is not on SmackDown. But you could essentially extend her stay here with this in a really meaningful way, because the title has really hopped around this year, which I'm cool with. I like when the title has a little bit of a pulse. You know what I'm saying? But surely she can't lose, right?
Well, to that point, I think Justin Powell pointed out in chat. I didn't know this because I don't cross the line. The winner of this match gets Masha from TNA in 2 weeks at Slammiversary and title versus title, which is also very interesting because you could have Jordan potentially going back to where she came from to get that title back.
I mean, all right, I'm gonna say Jordan is winning.
I'll say Jordan too. I get that she couldn't beat Stephanie, and she couldn't beat Julia. So you give her this one. I will understand that. It's almost the scrub got it, so we got to beat the scrub. What do you think, Novak?
I want to say Jordan for the reasons you guys said. I think my issue is whether or not Jordan wins. I think it's prolonging the inevitable here with Blake getting the championship pretty soon. I wouldn't be surprised, at least, just because I think she's obviously the first big woman to jump, or second big woman to jump from AEW, but the first one to jump from AEW to NXT. Jade went straight to the main roster. Yeah. So I think it's at some point that's going to happen. So they're going to have that tag match. I agree that JC is probably going to eat the loss there to set up more doubt. I know there's a rumor out there that they already have Blake's heel turn mapped out. I don't know
It's
if that's
happening.
I don't want to say it's an immediate tell, because that would be completely giving the game away, and I would be disappointed if that happened right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I'm going to go JC just to be different here.
Yeah. Yeah, I ultimately think Blake will take over Fatal Influence. It's just the timing of how long it's going to take for that to happen. And I don't know what form of that, what form that will be, because we've already seen that Fallon is kind of like on her own thing as well. And Fallon is another one that needs to go. I think she needs to move on up. She's quite clearly the far and away the best of that team. But again, I would have Blake come into this. If she's not in the Battle Royale, I'd have her play into this in some way, shape, or form. I just think that with Jordan, if you look at the landscape of NXT, she does have a lot of people to face, but she's also beaten a lot of them. I think the biggest one that she's beaten has been Jada Parker. I think, to me, she should be the next one up going there. But I also feel like Kalani Jordan's it's time for her to kind of step up and start going for the NXT World Title too. Like she's been in the mid card for a very long time. I think she needs to move up, and I think Sol Ruka, whenever that's time, she needs to move up as well. And speaking of Sol Ruka, actually no, she's on Great American Bash. That's crazy. Actually, I think she should be.
No, Sol Ruka's on here too. She's on the show too.
She's in the Fatal 4-Way Tag match, Judgment Day versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Sol Ruka versus Zarya versus the Kabuki Warriors. Kabuki Warriors were just put into the match last night on Raw. This has the potential to be like show stealing. This has the potential to be really, really good. Kabuki Warriors back. Charlotte Flair working with some of her favorite women, and that being Asuka and maybe Kairi Sane, as well as Sol Ruka, she's a big fan of as well. These tag titles have been on the waist of Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the past couple of months since Mania, or the night after Mania. And with Liv's injury, Roxanne has replaced her for that last title holder. Rox takes a lot of pinfalls. I'm interested in seeing what they do here, because if the story is that Roxanne can't hold on to these titles and it creates more doubt with Raquel, I think that's a good storyline implication to go with as well. But what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Novak.
Yeah, I think you have to think about where this would have gone if Liv was there. I think they might have dropped beforehand, honestly, to probably Io and Kairi. I think they would have obviously added Asuka to the play, but I don't think that she would have been in this match. So from that point, I think they made the right call in just having doing the same thing they did earlier this year with Bianca, Jade, and Naomi. This time with Liv, Raquel, and Roxanne. In picking a winner, shoot, I'll go Charlotte and Alexa.
Wow,
it's random. They started quick.
It's different.
But if Judgment Day is going to lose those titles for the reasons you pointed out, Justin, I think that would be a good way to do it. It keeps both of those two busy, and I think that going forward with SmackDown cutting back to 2, they'll need to stay busy, and that's a good way to keep them busy, because normally they use those titles to keep a lot of their top stars busy, which people like it, people don't, but I think that's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with you. I do not want to see the Kabuki Warriors win, because I do not want to see them as a tag team anymore. As much as I love them both, they've been a tag team for maybe like 6 years.
I think they're teasing something with Io and Asuka. I think that's coming at SummerSlam, personally.
Yeah, I think
Kairi might get caught in the middle.
Yeah, Asuka is looking definitely like she's not.
She's giving off. She's giving heel vibes. She's giving one of them.
But again,
all black.
If you get heel Asuka, to me, like the best measuring stick for Stephanie Vaquer is like, can she hang with Asuka and have really great matches with her? And I think they could have some real bangers if given the opportunity. But I think as far as this match, I think the Judgment Day retain. I don't think it's time for them to drop it yet. But I don't know who they drop it to. That's why I like Novak's suggestion. I think Charlotte and Alexa different.
I'm going with Flair. I'm going with Flair and Alexa for sure.
Yeah, I'll go with Judgment Day, but I have no horse in this race. I'll go with anybody. Next up, let's talk about the Battle Royale for a shot at the World Championship at the Clash in Paris. Right now, we only know that Ivy Now, Stephanie Vicaire, Nia Jax, Nikki Bella, Natalia, and Maxine Dupree are in this match. This is probably the biggest. You could have AAA people there.
Ava's on NXT tonight taking suggestions of who should be in this match,
Yeah,
and I'm like, shouldn't you do your job, lady? Like, what the hell is wrong? Make some qualifying matches or something.
They're gonna probably have a TNA presence in this match too, I would imagine. You
can go ahead and say Lash Legend. You can go ahead and say Jada Park. The top women that they always put in these positions.
Exactly.
Lash Legend, Lola Vice will probably be in this, and that's from Kalani Jordan as well. Those are like their gals, and I would probably what's her name? Not
Jada?
Tatum.
No,
I said Jada. Who's the other one that could go up?
Is he?
Who am I thinking of?
Wait, no,
I'm a grown ass woman. Thea Hale.
Yeah.
She's been on. She's been on speed for the past couple of weeks as well. Like they seem to be seeing a lot in her.
Exactly.
I truly don't know who's gonna win. If Nikki Bella is in it, I'm inclined to say she's gonna win, but I'm also like, what? Like, I know Vicaria, this is gonna be her first match back. She was dealing with a nagging injury for the past couple of weeks, which she talked about on her Instagram. It's either Nikki or Stephanie for me. I don't think Nikki needs like
Nikki going
many. I don't think she needs many title matches. That's my thing. I don't think she needs many title matches. But I'm just looking at who will be the champion at that time, and if it's either Rhea or Io, I don't know what that will look like.
Yeah, see that's why I think it's going to be Nikki, and because I think that SmackDown's obviously going to be tied up with Naomi, Jade, Tiff, and maybe a returning Bianca if she's healthy enough for the next several months. So it's booked up. So it's not the SummerSlam title match, which means that whatever they have planned through SummerSlam is already pretty much set in stone. So it has to be somebody who can probably give Nikki a good match and work her safe. And it's also a one-off because it's just in Paris on their way to their fall schedule or whatever. For that reason, I can see it just being Nikki in, out. She gets an opportunity. Maybe they do an angle with somebody else who gets involved, who maybe the person she eliminates costs her that match to do a program if she's going to be back more on a more recurring basis.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I see it being Nikki.
Yeah, I'm picking Nikki too. I feel like it's especially her little like WWF Warzone ass promo yesterday.
I like it. I like it being Nikki as well. I think that she said she's going to be around for a while. She's not going to be a short run. It's going to be a long run. It makes sense for her to do that. I would love to see Nikki show up in NXT. I love to see her do all the things. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just on the road there. I think she should mix it up with some of the younger talent as well. Let's talk about.
She's another one. Just real quick on Nikki. She's another one who cares a lot. Like beyond even the discourse online regarding her and however she's someone who genuinely cares a lot, which is why I have so much respect for her. Terrible on traders, but great in the ring.
Let's talk about Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. I think a very low impact match for Tiffany. I think that she's going to be.
Is hilarious.
It's true. I mean, it should be a cool little again. Tiffany gets to get her hits off. Trish gets to get her hits off. I mean, we know
working. She'd be working sometimes.
I was just about to say we've seen Trish work at a high level 2 years ago when she was in her heel run. I agree. I'm just saying this is a little warm up kind of like bottle program for Tiffany because she's gonna be wrapped up in a lot of shit in the next couple of weeks, like 6 to 8 weeks with Jade and Naomi and all that stuff. This is gonna be a fun match. I don't see Tiffany losing this match. I think it'll be fine. I think we all should, this is probably the easiest match to call on the show.
Easily.
Yeah, is there anything? I don't know if I expect anything out of this match.
I wouldn't expect to cash in. It depends. It also depends on when it happens. I would have this happen before the Naomi and Jade match happens, just so that people don't think that there's a possibility of a cash in happening. I'd have it go on relatively early because we're gonna get to this now. No holds barred match. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. This is probably and Rhea and Io are the top two most biggest programs on the show. These matches have been pushed for quite some time.
Can I? And I know this is gonna be sick. Can I give my fear about this match?
Oh boy,
Jade. I don't think has ever been in a match that's just not a match.
Well, she
But then
has.
also-
She hasn't. She had a no DQ match in AEW was when she finally used the chair and she was
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was gonna bring up. Like,
Yeah.
CM Punk had to teach her how to swing a chair, so I'm like, damn, are we gonna have to teach her how to open a ladder or set up a table or?
she got to learn somehow. I said this like it's on the job training. She got to learn this
Yeah.
somehow. You know what I mean? I think Naomi's the best person to do this with. I think they trust each other. I think that's a major thing. I think in AEW, a lot of it, like you could tell, a lot of people just didn't trust working with her. And I think that's why her trajectory went how it went in AEW. It just felt like a lot of the women there just didn't trust working with her for whatever reason. But
Right.
I
And I also don't think
within-
we've seen Naomi in a bunch of these matches either, to be honest with you.
No, not really. I mean, for the most part, like,
she's been teasing it so well. I would love to see her open the briefcase and have the caution tape and use the caution tape to wrap Jade in, you know, to the ring post or something like that. I want to see some like really
I
cool
can see that.
spots. Like her having not the knife, but her having like the, you know, all the stuff out of the fucking, you know what I mean? Like I want to see them like do some really cool stuff. This is a blood feud. This is a huge grudge match, and you've really gotten the sense of like how deep this has gotten. I mean, this has been going on since before Mania. You know what I mean? And we're finally getting to the point with these two, and I want to see some action. I want to see some fucked up shit. I think Naomi's, to me, her character, she's never been better. This is the best to me she's ever been. I think when she hit her with the briefcase on Friday and said, "You should have proceeded with caution," and did that laugh, I fucking fell out of my chair. She's fucking amazing in this role. I love her here. I don't think she's gonna win. I think she's cooked.
Yeah, Jade is absolutely winning this on the road to SummerSlam.
not losing.
Yeah, but should be good. Should be good. I mean, this again, I think for both of these women, this is, you know, a match we don't typically see them in, so I'm very excited to see what they kind of like pull out, and you know, who's the agent on this or anything like that, like, you know.
Oh, TJ and Norman and all of them, they're working on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. Let's see.
Let's go to the triple threat. Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria. This is the most interesting story to me of the night. Lyra's got an attitude. Becky's instigating shit. Bayley's got an attitude. I know you got a lot to say about this, Novak. How have you felt about this build?
I've enjoyed it. I mean, I kind of could tell, you know, after she got booted off of Mania, you know, considering Becky was involved, I knew something bigger was going to be at play. I assumed it was just going to be a singles match at the time, but I don't mind Lyra's inclusion considering how good Lyra's been and how hot her and Becky have been in the ring. I mean, they've had two incredible matches this year at Backlash and Money in the Bank, and I expect a third somewhere down the line. I don't know when, but that'll be fun when that does. I've enjoyed it. It's been really interesting. I think Bayley, since she's come back, when Lyra appeared confused, I knew something was going on.
Yeah.
But also, she loves doing the whole clean slate thing when she comes back, wears all white. She's done it 3 times now. So I knew something was up. She's been a little selfish.
Yeah.
I don't know where that's going, but maybe she.
I
maybe
like it.
I do too. I do too, because, you know, as much as I like her as a babyface chaser, her as a babyface champion, she usually will hit a wall.
Yeah.
And as a villainess, she never really hit a wall. She was always fantastic. So
Yeah.
I would not mind if she turned heel at some point soon. But this match is super interesting.
Yeah, I think it's great. She's finding this like happy medium between kind of like assertion, but also still being, you know, that face that everyone kind of loves. And it's real easy to love Bayley because she's genuinely a good person, like on social media, off social media. You know, when you think of events like Evolution, you think of how much of a proponent she is for women's wrestling. Who was it that thanked her last night? Thanked her and Natty. It might have been was it Nikki? Someone thanked her and Natty for just being on this card. It might have been Nikki, but you know how strong a proponent that she is on this card. This match is gonna bang. because
Yeah.
all three of them are hoopers.
Oh yeah.
Like in every sense of the word. I'm interested in the creative spots they pull out. I'm interested in I don't even really care who wins, to be honest with you. Just I'm very excited about this match because one, it's another wrinkle to all their, rivalries that are all together. But then it's also like this is like they're the three best in the company in ring by far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, to me, there's the plan B of it all. And like my overarching suspicion is that
Damn, you don't think Braun go show up or something? Or
no, I
Bronson
think
Reed.
there has to be a way for Becky to stay on top. I think she'll probably lose here. I think that there's so many ways to go.
If she joined in Seth's thing, she should win, in my opinion.
Okay. I think that the interesting part to me is that I think Lyra goes with whoever. But even crazier J5 booking is that what if Becky and Bayley team up? Like, what if they team up? But I don't think it can happen because I mean Becky's the one who took her out, so that's a little bit less likely. That's actually crazy. That's WCW type booking. I wouldn't do that. But Lyra to me is the key to a lot of things. I think Lyra being that young challenger, I think she sticks to being like I would love her to stick to being like a tweener, the man type babyface, and I think Becky brings that out of her. I think that would make her, even more palpable to the audience. Like to Sam P's point, she doesn't look like a dweeb. And I think every week she captures more of the audience. And that's so rare in this time where like social media kind of defines whether an audience would cheer or boo you. Lyra has to win them every week. And I think that she generally does. I think that she fights through what chance every single week. Like she doesn't get flustered. She fights through, general apathy sometimes where she has matches and she wins them back at the end. Like that's a really good quality. And I love that they have not given up on her. And I think this is more proof of that. But again, the plan B of it all, and my thought that Becky will join them. I want to see Seth and Becky have like a McMahon Helmsley like reign on Raw. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, going forward. Like I want that type of regime, and then I want the baby faces that will take them down. But you know what I mean? Like I think that's the illest part of it to me is that like they have to be building it up so that there's baby faces on one end, on the men and the women's side that want to take them down, and that to me is the most interesting part.
I agree, and of course, there's one pipe dream that. Oh, I said pipe. That's actually funny considering. There's one pipe dream that I have with Seth and Becky being a team because it begets the fact that Seth is enemies with CM Punk, and who he's married to.
Yeah,
man.
Can it happen?
All right. Do you think it can happen? Just put it out there. Like, do you think it can happen?
I mean, Punk came back. Why not?
This is the way it can happen. This is the way it can happen. If you do go forward with Seth and Punk at SummerSlam, that main event's night one. To me, in any other world, that's the main event of night one.
Agree.
And Becky does come out and help him win. That is a way that you can do that. Forget whatever whatever else happens. Becky coming out and then AJ coming out. I think it doesn't happen immediately. It definitely happens in the fall. It doesn't happen in the summertime. It definitely happens in the fall.
Yeah.
But
I feel like we can do a light intro to AJ at Evolution. Like maybe she's just there. So she's you float it out there. So if Becky eventually does interfere at SummerSlam, then AJ can kind of like, all right, so AJ's like in the vicinity. She's around. She just doesn't pop up out of nowhere.
I think the thing is like that can work. Punk having her as an ace in the hole works because I think that people they kind of know, like, obviously that the two of them are married. So they kind of can think to themselves, like, okay, maybe this will happen if Seth and Becky are a thing. And if they go after Punk, like, oh, that means one thing. And like, maybe they tease it because Punk and Bayley are friends. Maybe they tease it 1 week on TV or something. It's Becky and Seth versus Punk and Bayley. They take Bayley out. They're about to take Punk out and AJ comes out or something.
Yeah. It's just it's the plan B of it all. It's like, where does Becky go with this title? Who gets it? I think I really like the idea of Lyra being Becky's little student. I think that's just such a great story. And I think that you did mention Novak that Bayley always hits a wall as a babyface. And I think a lot of it has to do with the presentation. I don't think
Yeah.
it can't work. I don't think it can't work for her. I think there's generally a lot of things that has to change for her to be the best babyface she can be. I think she's a little bit too all shucks when she's a babyface,
Yes,
and
very much so.
her return here has given a lot more fire to her being a babyface. Like I've gone on record saying the last time she was babyface a year ago, it didn't hit for me because it just felt like the presentation, and that's not even all on her. She lost too much. She was made to look like a dork way too much during that reign. But coming back, giving her a little bit more attitude, giving her a little bit more, gravitas behind what she does will be a huge, huge, huge advantage to her being a babyface. I actually think she should stay one. I think her and AJ teaming up will probably be a bucket list thing for her,
yeah.
but also an awesome moment for the fans.
I agree with that, and it's funny because I think the best quality of someone like Cody Rhodes as a babyface is that he goes for the throat all the time. He doesn't just sit back. Same thing with Becky. She goes for the throat all the time. You're never. Stone Cold Steve Austin always went for the throat. You knew when he came out he was going to kick somebody's ass, and that was going to be the expectation and the reality. Yeah. Sometimes Bayley is a great chaser, but like you said, it falls short because of presentation, because she does fall under that aw shucks. But since she's come back, she's gotten that fire, and it's made her more interesting. Absolutely. I think if I'm going to predict a winner, I kind of want to say Lyra, because I think
I was going to say
that the issue, the one thing about Becky keeping the title and joining up with with Seth and Heyman and everyone else is she kind of has to keep it for a bit because that does keep her really strong. So she can't have someone be a thorn in her side after the fact. But the one thorn in her side has been, Lyra for the most part. So I can see her doing that. If you want to protect her, I'm sure Bayley's eaten enough pins in her life. It is what it is at this point. So
yeah, but Becky, to be fair, Becky has not shied away from being pinned by Lyra more than once. So
also true.
It's anybody's game. It's anybody's game. It really is anybody's game here. What do you think, Meelz?
I think I'm gonna go with Becky. I guess I don't know. Usually in these triple threats matters, I think this would kind of be the case. You want to continue to build towards SummerSlam. I mean, I think it would be remiss if someone else won and then suddenly the belt was no longer on SummerSlam because it's just all right, well, let's do more important things with Becky or something along those lines. So I think Becky wins and takes this at least to SummerSlam. You can potentially even properly coronate Lyra again at SummerSlam if you needed to, because I know Becky will be there. 2-night SummerSlam, she's gonna be there. So I'm gonna go with Becky
for sure. Main event time: Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the women's heavyweight championship. This has been a build that has been months in the making. Don't let anybody tell you any different. The Mania build.
It's a rivalry. It's a rivalry like Austin versus Rock. It's a rivalry like Cena versus Punk. It's a rivalry like Trish versus Lita. People are making this so much about oh my God, this was just booked in a match or something along those lines. I'm you're blatantly you don't say that no one's saying that Okada and Omega is not oh my God, there's been no build to it or
I'd argue I would argue Okada and Omega don't need a build. I would argue they actually have done they've done too much in AEW for that. I'd argue that. Remember they had the video package for that a month ago?
Yeah.
Instead of this week, they've actually done too much for this feud. I don't know.
But I think Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, again, the story that Rhea has never been Io one-on-one, the fact that how essentially Io Sky became champion, WrestleMania afterwards, it's definitely notable that, again, this is Io Sky's first defense since WrestleMania. You would think that maybe another thing on the show, but we're here nonetheless. I think H's booking is just the champion isn't. It's been like this since NXT. The champion isn't as active as all the other competitors, and that's really to build the rest of the division.
It's very old school.
He's always like that with Io too. She was always an attraction for him.
Yeah. I mean, Io Sky, to me, I said this on Twitter. I was she's one of the best wrestlers on the planet. You can set your watch to okay, we're gonna have this banger here, and it's against Rhea Ripley. Again, this should be I'm expecting this, as great as their WrestleMania match is. I'm even partly expecting them to top that with this one. This should be really, really good.
And if it main events, they get all the time in the world. You can expect 20, 25 for this. This is H's girls. You know what I mean? These are his these were his pillars of his show, you know, back in the day. And he's finally giving them the main event again. You know what I'm saying? That they wanted. And listen, the conversation, you know, notwithstanding around it, the three of us don't subscribe to all of the foolishness online about the build to this. We've known this was coming. Okay. We've known this is coming for a while. It has to happen this way. It is the biggest match that you could have between the women on Raw. Not with, you know what I'm saying? Like, and also I would say this again. This will determine what happens with this division going forward. You know what I mean? Like this determines what happens to the division for the next 6 months at least between Rhea and Io. We know it's going to be good, but what I want to know with you guys, tell me your winners and where do you think this goes afterwards, past the Nikki Bella match, which we've already kind of guessed. Who you think is going to win, and where does it lead us in the next couple of months? I'll say 3-4 months.
So I'm going with Io Sky. So I think Io Sky continues to kind of win this. I'd say over the next SummerSlam. I mean, potentially I can't think, but then again, I can't think of a SummerSlam card without Rhea Ripley on it. So it's like, what the hell does Rhea do if Rhea doesn't win? I
care,
but it's I think Io Sky. I can't see the reason why to take it off of Io Sky right now, unless she was literally just holding it for this moment here. But man, if I truly believe that Naomi would do something different, she can cash it on her, right?
But to that point, and I'll let you finish a second. To that point, like everyone keeps talking about, like the Rhea doesn't have Io's number. I don't think it's a bad thing that there's one thing that hangs over somebody's head. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it's a bad thing to have a demon in terms of your professional career demon. And I think Io being that for Rhea, yeah, like it's not a bad storyline. I can't think of a wrestler that's had that type of storyline before, but like I don't think it's a bad thing for that to happen. But I'm sorry, go ahead, Meelz.
Nah, I mean, I don't know if I can plot out the next number of months. I mean, between SummerSlam, Clash in Paris, I mean, if you're going to do Io Sky versus Nikki Bella, that's something that could also happen, which I think would be an amazing feather in Io's cap, continue to really elevate her. But yeah, I think I'm just going to go with Io Sky. I think Io Sky is one of the best wrestlers on earth.
Good point, Mr. Burnout. Asuka was Becky's demon. I like that. That is literally the person who beat her at Royal Rumble that caused her to go and try and win the World Rumble. At that point, Asuka was Becky's demon for quite some time. I think are they even now in win losses, or is Asuka above?
Because Becky got her back the ensuing year in 2020 because they ran it back.
Okay,
that was a good match. It was a good match on a pretty decent show.
Okay, Novak, who do you think's winning, and what do you think happens after?
All right, I've got Io winning as well. I have a bolder path, but it's not for Io, it's for Rhea. I think Rhea is going to lose this match, and then at SummerSlam, I think she loses again, maybe to Steph Flair, and then she's going to get drafted in the fall to SmackDown.
Oh.
Because I think the ultimate goal at 42 is probably Bianca Rhea finally. And I think you can't get there unless both are on the same show because... Well, I mean, I guess one could win the Rumble and go over there, but I mean, that's if they
did it this year. They already did it. They did that kind of story. They did that kind of story.
Already did that. Yeah. So as far as Io goes, like you said, Meelz your path, Asuka and Nikki Bella, and then I also think that in general, Rhea, she spent a lot of time on Raw. Only time that she was on SmackDown was for the Charlotte build, and that wasn't much of anything. So she hasn't ever been on that show. And everyone's time on these brands comes to an end. She's wrestled, she can't wrestle live anymore because she's hurt. She's got to start connecting some new threads. I think SmackDown needs a star on that show bad.
Yes.
Just in terms of just beyond the triumvirate of Bianca, Jade, and Naomi. And
which could be split up also in the draft as well.
Yeah, of course it could, because the loser of Naomi Jade could go there. So yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
No, I love that idea. Actually, I didn't even think of it like that. But I think if you're leaving a show and you're going out, you should go out on your back. You should go out putting over the people.
Be the territory on your back. Bailey did it earlier this year to Tiff. Always go down on your back.
And I think that again, it's a good idea because Raw is very, very top heavy, and I think that you've got Stephanie Vaquero who's trying to find her way. You've got Roxanne who's in a big program already with Liv whenever she comes back. You still got, Ivy still on that show who needs to get built up. You got a lot of women on that show that could realistically be built up. Lyra's still there as well. You know what I mean? Like I think that it's in good hands with Rhea gone. She gets to reconnect with Damian. She gets to reconnect with Charlotte there. She gets to have matches she hasn't had yet. Julia, I saw that in the chat. That could happen. Anyone that gets called up there, that's a good idea. I too think that Io will win this match. I think that it's just such a good look to have Io like standing tall at the end of Evolution. I think that just would look cool. But also there's a more personal connection there with her facing Asuka at SummerSlam and her facing Nikki Bella and having that moment as well. And all of these things happening, within that reign of hers, and then just having her have a long. This will be like her second long reign or her longest reign yet that she's had. Like I think the thing is you have to get Io active and you have to start putting her in the storylines. And I think that an Asuka storyline is like it's perfect. There's something that we want to see, but there's history there, and I think that's actually an awesome direction to take it. I also think Io's going to win. I don't know what we're going to do if Rhea wins, but I still think you can still get there. What Novak said, you can still get there with Rhea. You just gotta. I think right now we gotta be in the era where we gotta start giving these women title reigns. You know what I mean? Like Cody need to get about 3-4 more before he's done. Rhea needs about 3 or 4 more. It's like we need to start getting them because Charlotte was getting them like candy for a while. Like we need some of these women need to get them like Bianca. Win it 1 month, losing another.
Right.
Like,
well, that happens when you build like great rivalries. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like those type of, and I think that's what they're working towards with this women's division, and kind of everyone who's really circling that title scene. So I think if they continue to build more people in different ways, I can't see why we're not going to get more title reigns for these ladies, new interesting ones. So I'm surprised we all said Io all the way through. I think, to be honest, if Rhea wins, I'm not surprised, but also the timeline might burn down. So it is what it is.
let it fucking burn. I don't give a shit. Let it fucking burn. I don't care. At the end of the day, these are the 2 most popular women on the show. You know what I mean? Yep. Like it's not a bad thing to have dominant champions. It's also not a bad thing to have a dominant character. I think people forget the purpose of wrestling is that like it's not just what you like, it's what everybody likes. So Io, let's fucking go. That was Evolution Talk. That will be Sunday on Peacock. I want to thank you again, Novak. I think everybody in the comments, everybody in the chat loves you. They love to see your thoughts on women's wrestling as it stands, and I don't think you disappointed at all this episode.
Appreciate it,
Not
guys.
at all. Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for joining us on episode 400, man. Really do appreciate you hopping on.
Take care.
All right. Take care.
All right,
all right, see ya. All right.
Right. That was the show. Any final thoughts? Any final 400 thoughts, Meelz?
This one way better than I expected it to. Just really from not that any of the guests, but more so like doing live shows give me anxiety. Because there's so much things like I'm producing the show and all these other things, and I'm thinking of clips and I'm thinking of other things. So definitely amazing show. Shout out to Khal and Novak. Great guests to come on. Great guests we don't usually even have guests that much anymore. So in fact, we had 2 in 1 episode. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
I was hoping if I can sprinkle some for the audience, I was hoping we get someone to interview on this show. But of course, WWE is a tough cookie to crack.
Yeah, we're not. We don't have a beer sponsorship.
Yeah, we don't have Armand connections. #Armand connections.
Nah, not even that. We don't have questionable political views, so they can't put people in here. Thank you for everybody that 400 push-ups. Is that amp? Hell no. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, Sid, what's belt etiquette, bruh?
Oh, belt etiquette is belt etiquette.
What is
The
that?
fact that Nelson, you explain it in the chat. Talk about etiquette. We've been having this discussion on the side about belt etiquette of like champions coming down with the actual belts instead of not coming down with the belts. Like even when they do a run in, even when they do all this, how they hold the belt, all types of other stuff like that.
You know what I hate when niggas hold the belt like this around the strap. That's so weird. Hold it, you know what I'm saying? Hold it up. You know what I mean? Like hold that bitch up. Champions don't present themselves with the belts enough anymore. I thought Cody did.
Hey man, Cody did, but you know who doesn't? The other
Who?
world champion in the other company.
Oh,
The mere fact you have not seen. I mean, it's going to be a great moment when he does lose the belt and they finally open it up and the belt is there and it's going to be amazing. But the mere fact you haven't seen it in a year is fucking crazy. Yeah, he is. Jey Uso is definitely his example of someone who just like didn't carry it enough, and now he doesn't have it. He was doing running with no belt. He was world champion. So
I don't think he ever expected himself to get the belt. Seeing how he dropped that birthday cake, he probably lost the belt a couple times, man.
Nah,
like,
that's a fact. Hold on, let me see. Did anything pop up in the last hour? Let's see.
Nah, nothing happened. I think every wrestling company cleared the way for our 400th episode this week.
I love that. I love that for us. Wait, hold on. Alundra Blaze and Jazz are expected at Evolution. So see, you don't have to just have Michelle McCool.
She said, "Ain't nobody called me." I said, "Good,
good." I said, "Pipe down."
Yeah, good. Go do something else. You got kids. You got a job, bro.
You got a podcast. You know what I'm saying? You got LFG. We see you more than enough times this week. Did you see that Ricky Saint's gonna be on Cody's podcast this week?
Oh no, I didn't. I'll watch that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna chat, but he should.
I mean, I don't think he got an NDA. I don't think he got an NDA. His contract just ran out.
No, not at all. But no one has chatted yet. I'm kind of upset about that. We didn't get to we didn't talk about Britt Baker on this thing. I don't know if you want to.
Real quick. Britt Baker is posting up the live, laugh, love shit on her Instagram. I've said this before. I think. I mean, again, what more is there to say? Like, you're gonna start seeing this a lot more. You're gonna start seeing a lot of the originals and the OGs start to become disenfranchised with the company because it's like a startup. I mean, the attitudes change, the goals change, the ROI changes, the KPIs change, and that's what's happening right now in AEW. And they've effectively, like they did with Cody, pushed out a lot of the OG sentiment, a lot of the what everyone says, like the spirit of what it used to be, right? I think that's what's happening with Britt Baker right now. And I know we say a lot of things about, her wrestling skill, her attitude, things like that. I think there's a lot to be said about why. I think people need to be figuring out the why she's malcontent right now. And I think that's a story that, when she's ready to tell it, if it's possible for her to tell it one day, she'll say it. But I think that like the why is to me the more interesting part is like, why is she so upset? And that's the question we should be asking. We should be asking the questions about why someone who was OG, who was in their first press conference, is coming out and having these issues with the company right now.
Absolutely. No, that's a fact. Can I use their final seconds to unveil the people one thing that I guess it's not coming out anymore. I'm just gonna say it right now. It's not coming out anymore. But people who have been clamoring for like, hey, shirts and stuff like that, like make more shirts. I'm not sure if you want the same shirt over, like us to re-release the shirts again, because I can do that. That's way easier than all this other stuff like that. But like last year for a thing, I had this like very intricate idea to make something, and we did it, and I did it, but I only got samples from it, and I got too lazy to actually do it all over again. So I kind of want to show. And I was supposed to send J5 it, but I never actually got to send it. Show orange soda. Hold on. I'm not sure if people can actually see this. So this was supposed to come out last year. Did not come out last year. I have a case of it sitting next to me, but I don't know if it's still good, but it's a good collection piece.
I wanted to take the thing that makes that really cool is because we're always drinking shit on this show. We're always drinking shit. The Prime. Remember we did a whole episode we just drank Prime and I felt like I was gonna die afterwards. The fucking the hot chips, we did all of that. We did it all in this show. We've done it all. The hot chip is
Greg, it's empty.
I always want to try. We got a can made. It would be cool if we could like send like a can over to maybe one of our listeners. We'll figure out a way.
It's a tough way to send. I always look up. It's tough to send liquid shit through mail. So
yeah, no, I mean like
just,
an empty can. We could drain it and then put water in it, and then like we can like put it in like a styrofoam and send it off.
Well, I got a lot of it. I gotta try some Dubai chocolate next. Okay, I don't know what that is.
Is that the chocolate with the green shit in it? Look like doo doo. The Dubai chocolate, I don't trust that because it looks crazy. I eat a lot of shit now.
If you see me in person, I'm not sure if I'll end up at SummerSlam, but it's likely I'm going to end up at SummerSlam. Not based on anything. I'll have to work there, but it's likely. But if we know we're going to see each other in person, just let me know. I will try to bring some. I need to get this actually out of my room, and I need to actually send J5 and the gang at least half of this box. So I might actually like send you the box. So you guys can see what you got to do with it over there. But yeah, that's really it. Shout out to everyone who tuned in. Shout out to everyone who joined. Shout out to Sid and James and Tony and Kel and Sam P and Peeps and Greg and Jeff and Donnie and shout out to everyone. Shout out to Dion and Donnie for being on social media. Awesome people. We had a great social media post earlier today with our 400 episodes and the most important wrestling events that happened over the 400 episodes, which is like we could do at least like 40 more slides on that. I'll trade you a Tahitian treat for one. If you can get it to me.
You ain't never even had a Tahitian treat.
I've looked for it, but never had it. So it is what it is. I'm not even gonna pose Greg's comment. I think we can wrap it up here.
All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us live. Let us know if you want us to do more live shows. I really enjoyed doing this. I love talking to you guys as the show came out. Of course, for everybody on Patreon, this will be out it's gonna take a while for this to bounce. It'll be out in about an hour. And for everybody who's looking to listen to it, it'll be out tomorrow as well. So thank you guys for listening. Remember, important week, busy week in wrestling, but make sure you go outside and touch some grass. Go see Superman. Go do other things. Don't worry about the timeline for a while. We already talked about all of it. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for supporting. You guys are the best community in the world. You guys are the best listeners, best fans in the world. We do this shit for y'all. We will continue to do this for 400 more. So for Meelz, I am Justin. Thank you guys for listening to the A Show 400. Peace, y'all.
Happy Rusev Day.